Hello, hello, hello. This is the V-Man from No Budget Productions, and below me is Frank. How are we doing, Frank?
Below me?
Yes, below me.
That didn't sound right in so many levels.
I know, right? How are we doing, my brother?
I was doing fantastic till that last statement. No, I'm doing great. I just saw an exciting, they're still going on, discussion of the origins of Farragut, which you know is one of my passions in life because I was part of the Farragut crew. Mm-hmm. And so it's really great. I really would suggest, that we put a link to it. I think if anybody wants to go back and take a look at that, we'll put the link into that YouTube channel where it was on. And I think that you guys would really love the history that's going on. Michael did a great job. But we are here for No Budget Productions.
Well, I was about to say, why don't you go ahead and put that in the chat? You kind of beat me to that punch. Yeah, put that in the chat. And if you guys want to dip out here, go jump over there real quick and then listen to that and then jump back over here. Awesome. If you guys want to finish up here and then jump over there, hey, to each their own. Do what you guys got to do. Live by your own code. But we do support them. And, that's living history right there. They lived it. They went through it. And we support that. And, they're good people. So, Frank, yeah, put that in the chat, man. Let's
I'm getting
let's support them.
I'm giving the share. They're up to. They want to get up to 33.
33. Yep. Yeah. I was about to say 33. Where are they at now on their likes?
Where was it? Okay. Because I'm watching it from both. They seem to have 11 on YouTube. Let me see very quickly what they have on Facebook because I, of course, went off on that. Let me see if I can find it again. He was just showing pictures of the shuttlecraft bulbs that they put together.
Now, for those that don't know, these are actually the early days of the Farragut Studios sets, which are now the Neutral Zone Studios. So this is discussing the early history of what all happened. The very, very, very early days. So, go check that out. Like I said, if you want to check that out after this program, awesome. If you want to, stop this, go check that out and then come back here and listen to this program, awesome. Everybody involved are good people. But these are, like I said, living legends. They lived history. And if it wasn't for these people, we wouldn't have what we have now. So go check that out. Whenever you can, put that in your, playlist for later on, and check them out, support them. They're good people.
So much fun sitting at that console.
She did,
and she loved turning the.
And she antagonized John and now you see John would flip the switches, and it's like, no, save those for when you're crashing or something, But yeah, they're all lit up.
Yeah. Good shot, though.
I'm trying to get out of that one. Sorry about that.
But see, everything worked. Everything. If you press,
yeah, they're still going on. But let me.
Frank's so excited. He's got it. He's got it on double thing there, guys. It's all good, Frank. It's all good. Yeah.
Let me get it into our chat here. God, I'm so sorry.
It's all good, Frank. It's all good, man. So with us today in the chat, we have USS RNG who says hi, whoever's here, and everyone else who will come. We have Captain Baxley who says greetings to everyone. I can't stay, but you have all the fun. Well, Captain Baxley, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Then, of course, we have good old Frank Parker Jr. here. Then we have Brian Englund who says live from the Knob Noster Campground. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but let me know if I am or not. Welcome, Brian. Then we have Matthew Bracey. He says, hi, everyone. Hi, Matthew. How are we doing? Then we have...
Matthew also brought up one thing. He said, I watched a lot of Farragut, need to revisit that. We are going to be doing that. We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Let me get through all these here, and then we will be, in fact, we'll discuss it before we start the film, just because we might forget it at the end of the film, because I know you and I tend to jump subjects. We'll discuss it before we start the film here, and that'll give people a chance to kind of filter in and out. We have Donna Parker says, greetings all. Well, Donna, it's always a pleasure to have you. Matthew Braces says, I thought a lot would jump on here after our live stream. Did they talk about us on the our live stream, or am I missing something? Daniel Vance says, I hear a happy birthday is in order for Frank. Yeah, happy birthday. Well, I've already given Frank the spanking for today, so that's his buns are a little red here. So happy birthday, Frank.
It was.
Happy birthday, my friend. How old are you today, Frank?
I am 68.
Wow. Well, you don't look a day over 74. So that's.
Well, somebody once told me, well, if you reverse it, you could be younger. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work in this particular case.
At a certain point, when you start reversing it, that's when they know, you fucking liar. That's it. That's when they start shushing you and pointing their finger. Waving their finger. You liar. That's it.
Like Jack Benny, I'm 39.
There you go, man. There you go. USSA RNG says, "Oh, people have shown up." Donna Parker says, "Oh, I'm always amazed when people show up. I mean, when I got my sidekick Frank here, and it's just me and him, and then people join in, I'm like, yay! So I feel like $1 million, especially when I say things like I've spanked Frank. That's in fact, that could be our new shirt. I spank Frank. I mean that.
Spanky Frank. Spanky Frankie.
That's many different ways there. That's no wonder Donna shows up here. She's like, all right, take him. I don't need him anymore. Ian says, happy birthday, Frank. Ian is the only other person who I think can join me in this Spanky Frank thing. That's
right.
Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then Frank throwing up the YouTube link for our good old friends. Michael, which one is this? Is this Michael Bednar or Michael Day?
There's on there right now is Michael Day, and Michael Bednar, and also Greg Green, who was our main construction. I mean, Michael was the main construction, but
right,
Greg was our main builder. He was. Right. Yeah, and then it's being done by Roger Noriega, and he has a podcast on Facebook, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'll have it later. But yeah, he's done a lot of stuff for Star Trek and other things too. Okay.
And then Matthew Bracey says, I watch a lot of Farragut, need to revisit them. Well, actually, to those of you that do not know, we have the complete edition, or the complete episodes of all of the Farragut episodes. So we are going to be releasing them complete starting the first Sunday in August, which is August 1st. 7 o'clock, the very first Farragut episode complete. So it's not going to be like, the first episode, part 1, part 2, part 3, because when Farragut released their episodes, you could only do it in like maybe 5 or 10 minute segments. But of course it was 45 or however many episodes, complete chapters. But they had to break it down because YouTube at the time only allowed you to upload your certain minutes. So we have them completed. So we're going to be we were given permission by John Broughton and Michael Bednar and the people who were in charge of Farragut to release them on our channel. So you will have the complete episodes in its entirety on our channel every week until the entire series is done on our channel. So we do have permission to do that. They will be in its entirety, and we will have our own Farragut playlist on No Budget Productions. So you can, if you join us every Sunday at 7 o'clock, you will be able to watch the first episode, and then the next week the second episode, and then the next week the third episode, next week the fourth episode. Like, you will be able to watch them in its entirety. So I encourage you, come back every Sunday starting August 1st and watch them. If you haven't watched them, they're great films. If you have watched them, come back to Memory Lane and see them in its entirety.
You know, I've got an idea. Right. I'll talk to you. Just remind me that I have an idea for this, and we'll talk about it after the program.
Okay. Brian England says that I nailed it. Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Let's see. Ian says double team spankings, man.
Are you guys trying to really excite me tonight? Come on.
Maybe this is what Frank wants to talk about after the show. I don't know. Donna Parker says facepalm. Right on. Matthew Brace says, I need to restart this now. Matthew, I would say just go from here, go forward, because I mean, there are some things you just don't need to hear twice. So, oh my goodness. Let's see. Yeah, USSA RNG says that's cool. It drove me crazy to watch the short little videos. No, and that's the thing. Like, for me, I'm a completist, and I hate things like that where you're like, okay, am I missing one, or like you have to go jump and find, because it takes you out of the moment. So when I saw those, because we were going to originally do a watch part, a critical not cynical of the Farragut films, and when I saw those, I reached out to Frank, and he had them. So we reached out to the people behind the scenes, because again, Frank is friends with all of those people, and we got permission.
That's my tribe. So
yeah, there you go, man. No, and that is true. So. I'm a completist. I'm the same way. I don't like jumping, because then you get the wrong playlist. It's missing like section A, 2B, and you're like, oh fuck man, where's C? I don't have it. So no, that's why we are going to be doing that and having it in its complete form. So USSA asks, what dates am I going to be in Las Vegas?
You just dropped a bit, Vance.
Sorry, man. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So USSA RNG asks what day I'm going to Las Vegas. I will be there August 12th and 13th, which is a Thursday and Friday. I will be there.
Yeah, there's something else that we have that's coming up too, that you and I are going to be involved with in August, and that is Trek Atlanta. And we're going to be on their stream, being on the panel with Jonathan Lang. Unless that's changed for you.
I know I'm part of it. I'm not sure. Hold on just one second.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I'm looking myself. No, I'm still part of it. I just don't know. I've asked what all we're doing, but I don't really have much information.
Yeah, Trek Atlanta. Trek Atlanta, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Postponed to. Oh no, I think that was.
Trek. Yeah, it's Treklanta. I don't really know what all or what time, or like I have no information on that front for Treklanta. It's a virtual thing. I don't know if it's free for the public. I don't know if there's a small charge. I don't know anything about it. I just know that I was asked to be one of the guests on panel, which of course I'm always happy. If someone reaches out and asks if I want to do something, I'm always happy to do it. So, I'm always, hi Cheeto, how we doing, buddy? Good old cousin Cheeto there.
Hey Cheeto, how you doing?
Oh, did he drop? He dropped. If he comes back, I'll be looking out for him. so yeah, anytime anyone asks, I think Frank and I both are the same way. If someone asks, we're more than happy to oblige them. But I have no information on that one. I do know that I will be in Vegas. My panel is that Thursday, which is the 12th. I don't know what time because I haven't been given a time yet for that. And I'll be working the booth for Alec Peters for the Axonar booth, both Thursday and Friday, off and on. I'm not really a people person, even though I love to talk. So if anybody wants to meet me, you can meet me there at the Axonar booth because I don't really want to go walk around much, plus I have a bad back. So, it's easier for people to just come talk to me, meet at a central location and we can take pictures and meet up and, chat, so, I'll be pretty easy to get a hold of if you want to get a hold of me there and meet up, get pictures. Now, Ian asks if I'm going to be broadcasting from Vegas. I will be recording because my boss is going with me, and I will be recording my panel from. I don't know if it'll necessarily be live or not. I don't think so, but I will be recording it and then uploading it at some future time, so you guys will be able to see me on panel. So. Because I do believe in, showing you guys what we're doing. And plus I think it'd be a lot of fun. But most of it's stuff you guys have already heard because I tell pretty much the same stories all the time. And I don't really deviate from my stories because it's all pretty much the same thing. So, anyway, I digress. Cousin Cheeto, how are we doing, my friend?
Doing good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Dude, we can hear you fine. And my internet is working great, so I can hear you crystal clear, man. It is. Oh. I don't know what the fuck
I don't know what happened initially there. I came in and then my mic stopped and then my camera stopped and then I disappeared and I was like, what is going on?
Gremlins.
Yeah. So sorry I'm a little late. There are lots of big trailers came out today, so I was trying to do my nerd tube duty and actually do some work. Normally Zam would do all our trailers and stuff like that, but he is actually in bed, so I decided to do the new Lower Decks trailer and the first look at Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, okay.
Then before we get into Ghost Ship, what are your Brian Inglis says, happy birthday, Frank. You're off the hook for spankings. Not from me, he wasn't. Let me tell you, that fanny is...
It's red!
Rosy Cheeks. Let me tell you, Rosy Cheeks. That is Frank's name for the night, guys. Rosy Cheeks. That is it.
Whoa.
That is...
Don't threaten them with a good time.
That sounds right? That sounds like a great stripper pole act. Rosy Cheeks.
There you go. So let me ask you this, Cousin Cheeto. I saw the trailers. I saw both of them. What did you think of, first off, Lower Decks? What did you think of that one?
I really liked it. It's kind of more of what I like of Lower Decks. So, I'm excited for Lower Decks Season 2. I loved Season 1. I think, did you not like it, Vance?
I watched just enough to be ignorant of it. I need to go back and honestly watch it with an open mind. In fact, I may do that tonight. Probably watch it this weekend and next weekend and then get back to you and say whether I thought it was a good one or not. In fact, if you're inclined sometime, we may do one of your because you do, for those that don't know, and check out NerdTube because they're a great and Frank, if you could put the link to NerdTube in here so that our people can go over there and subscribe to them. Cousin Cheeto does segments of just geekdom, where we talk about a certain section of geekdom. But if you at some future point want to talk about Lower Decks, once I've watched it, I'd love to sit there and talk about the pros and cons of it because I haven't watched it enough to say whether I liked it. But I know the first time I did, I was really in a bad place to watch Trek in general, so I don't think I was open. My mind was open enough to do it. But watching this trailer, it made me want to go back and watch the first season again.
I think you need to, only because I loved season 1. It is I say it in my trailer reaction for Lower Decks is that I love DS9. I love DS9 more than any Trek itself, and I'm sorry, but so it is not selling it short to say that Lower Decks, if it continues as good as it was in season 1, is on par to become my second favorite Star Trek out of everything so far.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
So I mean, I know that the TNG people are like, but Lower Decks. It's self-referential to the point where it's like it has fun with it, but at the same time, it's not at the expense. It's to the enrichment of Trek. It's a celebration. If I feel like it is a celebration of Trek, and honestly, like I call Lower Decks like quasi canon. Like it could be canon, but I prefer to just take it for what it is. Like, you've got certain characters in there that are a part of the main Star Trek lore, and you can take it for strict canon and it works, or you could just kind of take it for what it is, and it's just a fun romping ride. And that's how I choose to take it. And if you go in with that mindset, I'm not saying it's like parallel universe or anything. Just go into it with like it is Spaceballs for Trek, and that's what you're gonna get.
The only reason I'm putting this up here is because Cheetos check cleared.
What?
I just put the link to your channel.
What Lower Decks reminded me of, and it was very like looking at it from this this trailer. It reminded me a lot of what I liked about Deadpool, and the self references, the lightheartedness. And it made me want to go back and give the first season another chance and be like, okay, I know this isn't going to be DS9. I know this isn't, I need to open my mind a little bit and breathe and give it another shot. Because I loved Deadpool, but Deadpool is not, the dark and gritty Michael Keaton Batman type comic book movies. It's its own thing. It's fun. Enjoy it for what it is, and I think if I go into it with that mentality, I think I'll enjoy it on the level you do. Is that an accurate assessment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As I said, if you go into it, have you ever watched have you watched Dragon Ball Z like back in the day? Like
no, I haven't.
Okay, I was gonna say it's kind of like Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z parodies, where they're just they are people who love Dragon Ball, but it is an absolute parody of Dragon Ball, and it's people who love Dragon Ball parodying Dragon Ball. You can tell the people who parody Star Trek and Lower Decks love Star Trek. So, and that's why I'm saying it's like it's very respectful to the canon and everything, and I really think that they knocked it out of the park.
So what was your assessment? And before we get into Ghost Ship, because we'll head on there in probably about 2 minutes or so, because we're 25 minutes. We'll be 25 minutes into the and without even starting. But what was your assessment of? What was the name of the other one?
Prodigy.
There you go, Prodigy. What was your assessment of it?
I said this in my reaction, but so y'all are getting a little sneak peek. But Prodigy, I don't feel like it's going to be my cup of tea. I feel like that if my kids like it, I'm happy, because I'm not one of those people that are like, if it's not my Trek, it's no Trek. Like right. It'll be a corner of Trek that I choose not to really partake in. I will probably watch some of it. Maybe eventually, if I'm bored, watch all of it. I'm, as a lot of people know, I'm not a fan of Janeway, so she's in this series. So take that with a grain of salt. But it just does not seem like it's going to be my style of Trek. And by that, I mean, it is trying to do its own thing. It is, but it's like, it's so like Avatar: The Last Airbender looking type of, like all the races look really fun. And I know there should be different looking types of races in the universe and everything like that. That's not what's turning me off about it. It's just the aesthetic and the idea behind it. Like this ragtag group of kids find this Starfleet vessel with a mommy hologram on it. That was for you, Frank, by the way. And
thanks.
And just. It doesn't seem. I'll give it a shot. I'm not saying it's crap. It just does. From what I've seen so far, it doesn't look like it's going to really interest me all that much. Now, if my kids watch it, and I'll make my kids sit through an episode. If they like it, then that's fine. We can watch it, and I'll watch it with them. But am I going to get into it? I highly doubt it.
That's what I think. That I like as I was watching the trailer. As much as I wanted to kind of shit on it, I was watching it and I was like, I bet you Royce will love this, because it had all these different looking alien creature things that he would just seem to fall in love with, and fall in love with this universe that he already enjoys when we play spaceships, and this to me is perfectly guided for him in a way that Star Trek Discovery simply is not, with them tossing, cutting off baby heads and tossing them down holes and showing Klingon boobs. This is not, this is, the pendulum swung far from Klingon breasts with this trailer. So, to me, as much as it, like, go ahead.
I also think they kind of learned their lesson from all that too. I don't think we're going to be seeing any more Klingon boobs. I think they kind of took a swing at that, like we're going to make this edgy.
Unless
Klingon boobs, and then it's swing and a miss.
Unless it's Michael Dorn's boobs, I don't think we will be seeing Klingon boobs. But yeah, like as much as it may not be my cup of tea, I think it'll be geared more toward for kids. So I do like the fact that we are getting. Ian Mitchell says, "What's wrong with Klingon boobs?" Look, because it's not Frank playing the Klingon. Bottoms, enough said. Am I right, Frank? Am I right? Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm thinking about this.
I mean, you played a Romulan, but you didn't play a Klingon, Frank.
Booby.
I just want to just jump in really quick. Brian Anglin, yes, DBZ abridged is amazing, and that's what I was referencing. Was like if you love DBZ, watch DBZ Team 4 Stars abridged. It is the funniest thing ever. If you like Final Fantasy games, watch Team 4 Stars Final Fantasy Mech abridged. The most hilarious stuff I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, sorry. Go back on track.
I'm going to have to do that to Ian someday. I'm going to have to take a picture of me in a Speedo and put it up there.
I feel bad for the poor sap who's looking for, hey, Ghost Ship, review here. Man, I'm going to click on this, and they get 30 minutes in, and we're talking about Frank's tits. I love I fucking love you, Frank. This is this is great. Oh my God. Okay, well, on that note, guys, bless your heart, everybody in the chat. Thank you. And we actually have more viewers than we did 10 minutes ago. See, this is what Frank's Breast does. # Frank's Breast. All right, guys. On that note, Frank, start the movie.
Okay, let me mute it all.
All right, let's mute our mics, guys.
Joseph.
Commodore Austin to you, Commander. Please have a seat.
I always knew it was just a matter of time before you were flag officer. I guess all that relentless dedication to the Academy finally paid off.
Well, what can I say? I was a man on a mission to always be the best.
So what are you doing on this pile of crap?
Well, I'm the commanding officer for this sector.
Why am I just now finding out about this?
Well, you're the operations officer for this station. You know what happened last week.
Yeah, but was it that serious?
Over 500 people were killed last week when the M5 computer malfunctioned during that war game. Commodores Enright and Wesley have been recalled to Sector 001 to give a report directly to a board of inquiry at Starfleet Command. So, here I am.
Yeah, that's pretty serious. Okay, I'll make the command transition as easy as I can, sir.
Unfortunately, Commander, you're going to be needed elsewhere.
Sir?
One of our ships was disabled and wrecked during the incident. The USS Excalibur suffered major damage and its entire crew was lost due to multiple hull breaches and a failure of the life support system. Now, the ship is salvageable, but it will take several months in space dock to restore it. Now, we would have tractored the ship back in, however, its antimatter containment field is fluctuating, and towing it in with the tractor beam could result in a warp core breach. Your mission is to take a small away team aboard and stabilize her so that the ship can be salvaged and the crew laid to rest.
A small away team to salvage an entire starship.
Like I said earlier, over 500 people died last week. So Starfleet Command wants to keep the potential for further loss of life at a minimum. Your orders are to select an away team of 3, including an engineer who can stabilize the situation and bring the ship back under impulse power. Can you do that, Commander?
Aye, sir.
I know you can do this. The Lexington will drop your shuttle off at the edge of the system on its way out. Now, I don't have to tell you, there's a reason Starfleet Command picked you for this mission. So we're going to be watching your performance very carefully. Dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Wow. This mission isn't dangerous.
Hey, we're Starfleet. Risk is our business, remember?
All too well. If the telemetry from the Lexington is to be believed, I'm not sure how the Excalibur core hasn't already breached.
Hey, this is no time for optimism. I'm about to shuttle out to a dead ship with no support from Starfleet. I have to be prepared for the worst.
I'm sure it's just faulty sensor data. You'll be able to take better sensor readings once you're out there.
Seriously, I am going to need a top-notch engineer if I'm going to have any hope of making this work.
I wish I could help, but I'm 75 light years away on a top-secret mission of our own. But I think I know someone that can help.
Why is it that every time you get yourself into trouble, I'm the first person you call? It's not like Starbase 6 has a personnel roster of 1,200 people.
Yeah, but you're smarter than 1,198 of them. That other guy's just weird.
So once again, you need me to solve your problems for you.
Hey, what would I be without you?
Well, you'd be a lot less cool. You'd have no idea how to talk to women. And, well, you'd probably be dead.
Exactly.
Commander Derek Mason, Lieutenant Jamie Archer.
You're the engineer? I mean, it's a pleasure, Lieutenant.
I'm sure it is.
So, Starfleet royalty, huh?
My great-grandfather runs in the family.
Right. Lieutenant Amanda Beck, science officer.
So, we're just gonna board a dead ship in miniskirts and go-go boots then?
You can put pants on for the away mission, Lieutenant. But if you want to do an EVA in go-go boots, feel free.
Funny.
EVA?
We all have to do it.
The ship's completely without power. We can't access the hangar deck, so we'll have to go in through the starboard hatch.
Bridge to Commander Mason.
Go ahead, sir.
We've reached the drop point. Prepare to depart.
Aye, Captain. It's now or never.
You know, I take it back. You still have no idea how to talk to women.
Yeah, I know. So what's on your mind, Beck?
I had a friend on the Excalibur.
A friend?
An ex-boyfriend. You know, it was fine when we were stationed on the same ship, but just didn't work out once we were assigned to different quadrants.
The standard subspace relationship? I've done it myself a few times.
Mason has us all beat, though. He did a subspace marriage.
Really? Dead?
Yeah, at some point we all have to admit that we're married to our careers.
I see.
Anyway, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean I stopped caring. I just
Afraid you'll have to see his dead body?
Something like that.
Okay, let's see if we can get more accurate sensor readings.
Scanning now.
There's no way this data is accurate. It's showing here that the matter-antimatter reaction is still active.
I'm not reading an active subspace field or EPS power anywhere on the ship.
The forward power coupling is down. That's why the life support systems are disabled.
If the reaction isn't powering the warp coils, then where's it going?
According to this, nowhere.
So the core should breach.
Not only that, but the antimatter containment levels are lower than when the Lexington first scanned them. This ship should have exploded days ago.
Well, now we get to board her and find out why she hasn't.
I have a thought on that, actually. We don't all have to go.
What do you propose?
Well, one of us could board the ship, reboot the transporter system, and beam the other two back over.
Okay, I'll go.
No, let me. I'll have to bypass the forward power coupling, reroute auxiliary to the life support and transporter systems, and then beam you two over. Is that something you can do?
No. Proceed, Lieutenant.
Aye, sir.
I'm approaching the starboard hatch. Archer to Commander Mason.
Damn it all.
Go ahead.
I've got it. Minimal life support is restored, and I can beam you aboard.
Good work.
I have a lock. Stand by for transport.
Archer, concentrate on the core. Back. Scan as much of the ship as possible. Find out as much as you can about the current situation.
Life support is at a minimum. I was only able to seal the hull breaches in the drive section with force fields, so we don't have bridge access.
Okay. I'll try to reboot the command pathways to the Duotronic data network from auxiliary control.
Jay, I'm so sorry.
Yellow.
Mason, I'm getting some very strange readings off the crew members' bodies.
Strange, like what kind of strange?
They all have this bizarre electromagnetic signature like I've never seen before. It's almost as though every single body were plugged directly into a power source.
Well, at least it's nothing that can hurt them, right? You know, they're dead. The hell was that?
Archer to Commander Mason.
Yeah, I'm still here. I think.
I need you in engineering, sir. Right away.
On my way.
What's going on?
Report.
I would if I could, sir.
I'm gonna guess it's not supposed to do that.
To be honest, I have no idea. I've never seen this before. It looks like the plasma reaction's just floating on the articulation frame.
Yes, Beck. Science the science.
Well, it doesn't read as drive plasma. There are different layers and concentrations. It looks as though the energy is being siphoned off the core and converted into some other form of energy. It has a signature I've never seen before.
Converted how?
Well, I can't say. It's not constant. It's happening in pulses. Almost like the energy is breathing.
Or feeding.
That's it. Derek, I think this is a life form.
An energy-based life form.
It makes sense. Other starships have encountered life forms not just based on other elements, but also energy, like on Organia.
Life finds a way, I guess, and even in the most hostile conditions.
Well, we can't get the ship moving with this thing sucking energy right from the core. Is there a gentle way we could, coax it off the ship?
We could shut down the plasma reaction. It might lose interest.
We could vent the drive plasma through the warp nacelles. It might just follow the energy out.
It would fry the coils. But it might work.
Okay, give it a try.
I think this thing is what's keeping the antimatter containment field stable. If we shut down the reaction, we'll have to eject the antimatter containment pods as well.
Warning, antimatter containment field's failing. Containment strength at 8%. Initiating emergency warp reactor core shutdown.
What was that?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you, I got attacked by one of those things down in auxiliary control, too.
You forgot.
Well, we've kind of been busy.
The control interface is burnt out.
Obviously, this life form can manipulate organic matter as well.
But not us.
No, we're alive. Our bodies generate our own electromagnetic field.
I guess. We need to get to engineering level 3.
There were a lot of them out there.
Well, if we can't shut down the reaction, how are we supposed to stop this thing?
I may be able to manually eject the core from level 3.
They've cut us off from the armory on this level.
We'll just have to conserve phaser power.
All right, set them to 6.
That may not be enough.
Well, we'll just have to own the situation. Hey, look at this. Each pulse the HT absorbs off the core is consistent.
25 megawatts. Almost like it can only absorb 25 megawatts at a time?
Exactly.
I have an idea, but we need to get to the Jeffries tube.
And I thought you were the one that said a mini skirt and go-go boots were a bad idea.
Guess I'll just have to own the situation.
Well, kicking a zombie seems like a great way for a girl to get a run in her space tights. Cover me. Running Starbase operations never really prepared us for this.
You know, there was a time when this sort of thing is why I joined Starfleet. I don't know what happened.
You joined Starfleet to be hunted by the undead.
No, action, adventure. You know, isn't that what Starfleet's about? I guess I just got comfortable running a starbase.
Yeah, well, save the monologue. You're about to have more action and adventure than you know what to do with. It's not going to work. There are too many of them.
All right, go to full power.
Cool off.
Consider that a divorce.
Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
See you at the party, Richter!
What the hell are you guys doing? What does it sound like? We're trying to find the humor in our own impending deaths. Jay. Forgive me. I'm out! Oh, come on! Oh!
Warning. Reactor core ejection sequence is active.
God, you were always such a sloppy kisser.
Get to the shuttle!
Ugh. Ah. Yuck.
Everybody okay?
What happened?
Oh, I overloaded and detonated the reactor core after I ejected it.
The blast must have overwhelmed the entity.
No puppets without a puppet master.
Yeah, that's the easy part. Now I gotta figure out how to get the ship back to Starbase 6 without a reactor core or a DDN.
Well, and then there's figuring out what to do with 400 dead bodies.
It's only Tuesday.
Personal log. Stardate 4140.8. A mission that started as a simple salvage operation turned into the type of first contact situation that is every Starfleet officer's nightmare. An energy-based life form had taken control of the ship and turned the dead bodies of its former crew against us. We managed to neutralize the entity, but Lieutenant Beck's tricorder readings should be studied closely just in case Starfleet ever encounters this life form again. Lieutenant Archer has stabilized impulse power, and we are slowly on our way back. A once dead ship, now a ghost of its former self, is hopefully on course to rise as a phoenix from the ashes. Who can say what destiny still awaits the USS Excalibur, a mighty sword, broken in battle?
Zombies.
Yes, sir. Space zombies.
Well, if it helps, I didn't know there would be space zombies.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that, sir.
Well, regardless of the horrors that you encountered, you accomplished the mission. You brought Excalibur and her crew home. And overcoming odds like that isn't something that goes unnoticed.
Thank you, sir. What happens to the Excalibur now?
Considering the amount of damage she sustained, she's going to be in space dock for several months. But it's the perfect opportunity to make her the test subject for a brand new set of emerging starship technologies. Poetic, considering it was a test of one such technology that wrecked her in the first place. Nobody wants to admit it, but the Constitution-class heavy cruiser is in need of a major redesign. Using Excalibur as a pathfinder will give us a chance to test many of those new components before the design is finalized. New phasers, sensors, deflector systems, a new crew, and a new captain.
Sir?
Well, once Excalibur is reforged, she's going to need someone to wield it, Captain Derek Arthur Mason.
Oh, you went there.
I did.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm gonna need one hell of a first officer.
And here we go again.
You know, she's the one that actually solves all the problems around here.
Well, then why don't I make her the captain?
Oh, no, thank you, sir. But we'll need someone to blame when everything goes wrong. And, well, I vote for it to be him.
I see. Well, I guess it's decided then. Congratulations, Captain Mason.
Chief Engineer, status.
New components are installed and functioning. Matter-antimatter reaction in the new chamber is stable. We're ready for warp speed.
All systems ready, Captain. All decks reporting green.
Okay then. Helm, speed warp 6. Engage.
Well, guys, what did you think? Cousin Cheeto, you said this was your favorite fan film?
One of my favorite fan films. I think still the top spot goes to Squadron, which is a we've done a fan film reaction to on our channel NerdTube. It's really good, but it's in another language with subtitles, but it's still really good. This one is definitely a close second, though. It's fun, lighthearted, and I just, it's actually kind of just like Lower Decks, like we were talking about earlier. It's not making fun of the product, but it's having fun with it. So
right.
I really enjoy this one. And I mean, there's a few hiccups here and there acting wise. Like I've said in the past, Archer, the actress who plays Archer, sometimes the techno babble with her gets to be, sometimes it's hard to swallow her techno babble, just the way she says it. But but as I said, I really do. I love Mason as a captain. I like these characters in this fan film and other fan films from the Avalon universe. So, it is probably this is my second favorite fan film, probably to Squadron.
Mm-hmm. Frank, what was your thoughts on it, man?
The first time I ever saw this, I only saw bits and pieces of it, and I said to myself, what the hell is this? I really, didn't like it at first. And then when I finally watched the whole thing, I said, oh, now I get it. Because I was sitting there going, zombies in space. What the hell is this and all that? But it's very cute. I mean, it's a good film. I like the fact that they are using different costuming and stuff like that. I think that's one of the charms about the Avalon universe. Plus, it has that humor in it in almost everything I've seen by them, and it gives you, it makes people real. It makes everybody real in there.
Yeah, I think the thing that I love most about this is just by looking at it, right off the bat, you can tell that it's something different. When I started doing the Constar, I wanted something that was visually different. We had, a regular Constitution class ship, but we had blue warp nacelles. So it has, the look of classic Trek, but it also has a hint of JJ to it. Same thing with the Melbourne series. We had a completely different ship. So just at a glance, you look at it and it just says, it's not your typical, fan film. And that was always something that I said that I wanted to do. No matter what project I was on, I wanted to be able to show visually, just at a glance, that it's something different. Because most fan films, they, you can't tell exactly what you're looking at. They take a Constitution class ship and change the registry, but your average, person who doesn't know Star Trek worth nothing, they don't know the difference in registry numbers, so they just think it's the Enterprise. So anything you can do to make yourself stand out is always appreciated. And the Avalon film, you look at it and you're like, this visually just looks different. That's one reason why I like the Pike Discovery uniforms so much, is because they visually stand out. Just looking at them, you're like, this looks Trek, but it's also visually different, and that's the one thing that I appreciate so much about the Avalon universe, is it just looks so different, yet it looks very Trek, and it looks a leap beyond what you see in a general fan film, but still remains that fan film-esque vibe.
Is this the second film that was made on?
No, this is the first one. I'll be right back, guys. I got to clock off for my break.
No, I meant at Kingsland.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know that is the sets that we did Farragut on. That was the one we built, and I just noticed that, and I was just curious if it was filmed completely at Kingsland or if it was done at some of the Starbase. And I also wanted to know if, I know Dreadnought, after Manana sold the sets to Ray and they opened up again, I know Dreadnought was the first one to film on there, and I'm trying to figure out if Avalon was the second one to shoot. So
just as background, because you've probably filmed on some of these sets. How many rooms are in these sets? Like, for example, the one that we were just watching, if you've ever filmed on that one, like how many rooms? I mean, obviously there's the bridge, there's engineering, there's a hallway. Like, what is there anything beyond that?
Yeah, I was one of the builders on that.
Okay.
The whole thing. There's the bridge. There is the captain's quarters. There was med bay, the transporter room, the halls.
The briefing room.
The briefing room. It's also.
And is this like at a warehouse or like a?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've talked about it. I mean, obviously somebody built these sets and then I from what I've understood from you guys, they rent them out.
Right.
So
if you want to find the complete history on this, I just came from another podcast on this that Michael Bednar put on it. We've got the link in here if you want to go back and see the whole history of it. They're still going too, by the way.
Yeah, it's an interesting history. I was able to catch the beginning. Ian, no man, yeah, you brought it up, Ian. It's an interesting history of the early days of the sets and where they came from. Because some people have some questions on the specifics, but it's really interesting what all went into the making of these sets and everything, because it's like if you've never been there and you haven't seen them, it's just an amazing set to look at. It's amazing. I'd recommend anyone like we said earlier at the beginning of the show, if you have not checked out, Frank, go ahead and put the link back up or put it back in the chat, and Cousin Cheeto, if not tonight, because I understand it's getting pretty late. But if you have the chance at some point to go check out these, to just get a history of the sets, at some point, if you're driving or whatever, it's really interesting to listen to some of these and just look at some of the pictures, because see this stuff in its early days. It's kind of like, for me, looking at the early days of Starbase Studios. I don't know if you've ever seen a film called was it Starship Exeter? But for me, that's what the Starbase Studios was back in the day. To see these sets, torn apart and then rebuilt to Starbase Studios, whatnot, and then where they went to eventually. Like it's a whole history that was eventually from this film, and that's kind of what these guys are doing, which are they were Farragut Studios, and then now they're Neutral Zone. But it's really interesting. Ian says they've been over there. They're still streaming. It's been 4.5 hours that they've been streaming, but it's an interesting history of these sets.
If you want to go over there for a second, I can share my screen. Let's just mute here for a second.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Let me know when, Frank, because so that I can put that thing up. You're muted. You're muted, Frank.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm putting it up now. So, all right, Cheeto, let's go ahead and mute our mics.
Oh, wow.
So there's Dean, Christine Jeffries, and Greg.
Yeah. Well, those are good times. Good times.
And I was looking through that hexagonal mesh into auxiliary control room.
And that's right. That's the auxiliary control. Wow.
Yep. And there we are filming through the view screen.
What do you mean, Frank? Are you guys? Frank was doing a podcast. Yeah, he had to start. So they're broadcasting ours, I guess, on their podcast now.
Huh.
All right. Well, if we get the name of the podcast, we will gladly do it that way.
But you had to like the show.
Yep.
Yeah, like it. We're 28.
Oh, I love that shot. I took that shot.
This one?
No, the one before that. That one.
That one, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Oh, just for a second.
Yep. Yeah, because one of the things that I love about being part of Farragut was still photography, and I got to take a lot of pictures behind the scenes while we were filming, while we were
That was
just
your forte.
relaxing.
And that's actually one of the better shots. I love it. I think it's a great shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't see your script at all.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, there's plenty of times my script was right there, ready to go.
Yeah, I feel bad. We were talking to Project Potemkin. I think on a Saturday, we were doing a Saturday sports talk with the guys and Potemkin Pictures, or Project Potemkin, and they were all.
Okay, so anybody who I like that is this like a Twitch rate?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
So yeah, anybody who after the show here, or if they want to hop over there and then hop over here eventually, like I'm not going to of course be upset. There's room for everybody in any fandom.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I just how I am.
Oh no, man, no, dude. I don't mind. You know me, man. I don't get territorial over those things. It's there's no pissing contest online, dude.
There are two loves of my life right now. I'm in the middle of our Cynical, Not Critical, and I'm on the other one with Farragut, and this is my life. These two areas right here are my life. So
dude, it's fine, man. It's fine.
Hey,
But
Vance, I came for the pissing contest. When's that starting? Come on, man.
No, not with Farragut.
I've been drinking water all day for this.
Okay, so we got Frank on a pole. We got you waiting to pee. This is I'm sure Ian is probably just he's talking about the Shaft earlier. Like this is just weird. Ian says, and of course Donna. Let's not. Whew, Donna's going to get rid of all of us here soon. The checks are going to start bouncing if none of the checks are going to clear. So, PG is out the door. So yeah, but no, like I said, anybody who wants to go check that out, and I'd recommend if you guys want to know the early days of the Farragut Studios, or what is now known as Neutral Zone. Like I would sure they can offer some insight as to those sets. I find stuff like that really interesting because again. I've been doing this for 8 years. Frank's been doing this. How long have you been doing this for, Frank?
I started with them in, I want to say 2008, 2009. Donna, are you in here? Do you remember? It's been a while.
Ian, it's checks bouncing, not chicks.
Yeah, checks. Yeah. Yeah, checks, not chicks. Yeah.
Or maybe was it? I try to remember. Maybe it was. God, I don't remember. Yeah, it's been a while though. Maybe it was 12. I'll have to go back and check it. It's been a long time though. Long time.
But yeah, that's those sets. Because Josh from Ghost Ship, he shot on. At the Neutral Zone, he shot there. Oh hell, I want to say at least he shoots there at least once a year. And I've shot there for a few of my films. Of course, it was all on one weekend because I always shoot multiple times. Whenever I go someplace, I get about 4 or 5 films out of one day. And we shot there. See, I did a cross promotion with Dreadnought Dominion. Because they invited me to shoot one of their films, and then I shot one of my films in the engineering section, or it was actually like 2 or 3 films. But I had Gary and Randy in one of my films because we don't have an engineering set at Wolf and Dan's, so I was like I want Menard to actually be in engineering. So that I tell you, just to be to walk in that set is unbelievable, but yeah, if anyone who wants to know the history, go check that out. That's pretty good.
You do realize that Kingsland is not the first set.
What was the first set?
St. Mary's.
Was that Exeter? No, Exeter was just a bunch of miniatures.
No, we originally had a building in St. Mary's that we shot. The first film we shot in there was The Price of Anything. And we knew that we lost that building and got the other building. We had 7 days to get all that stuff out of there and into the new building after we finished doing The Price of Anything. We had built that. We had the bridge, a smaller transporter room, the captain's quarters. That's where we built the Romulan bridge. And the guy who owned that building was going to do something with it, and he rented us the bigger building after that. But originally, the first sets were in St. Mary's.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, see, I don't know enough about the history of those sets. Yeah, so that's why I need to go back and listen to, because I was only able to catch probably maybe 20 minutes of this. But no, I don't know enough about those sets. It's a complete blank for me.
In the first place they shot on a bridge was in Ticonderoga.
Yeah, see, I knew Vic and Collie had some crossover stuff.
Yeah, but I know Vic was not even in the picture then. Not even close.
Right. So going back to Ghost Ship.
Yes, Ghost Ship.
I would say, I think Tyler, I think he does a really strong performance in this one. I think because he does, like, he's a very charming person in real life. And I think the captain here, like, he just comes across as a likable guy. Not necessarily the person you see in the captain role, but I think that's why it's kind of an underdog story. He just comes across as a likable guy. You know, he's not your Captain Kirk per se. He's not he's definitely not a Captain Picard or a Cisco. But he's
tongue in cheek.
Yeah, he's kind of the guy, you know. To me, he's kind of the guy where it's like, you know, it's kind of like Bones, how he looks at Kirk, where he doesn't follow him because he's the captain. He follows him because he's his friend. He's like, all right, we'll follow him. You just happen to be the captain, you know. I mean, is that your assessment, Cousin Cheeto, or I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've said that the Captain Mason is one of my favorite captains, and I'm not even talking about just in the fan films. I mean. As you know, I like Picard. I like him a lot, but he is your poster child for captains. Cisco is one of my favorites because he owned that Dominion War, and through win and loss, he was the man. Like you can't even say he was the captain. He was the man of that war.
Right.
Janeway, I've said about her, not exactly thrilled about her. You know, so with Captain Mason, actually, he really strikes me as like a mix between like Riker and Trip Tucker, and as a captain, you know what I mean? Like very tongue in cheek, very sarcastic-ish, very, you know. So and you're right. I mean, you always see that as like the first officer or like the chief engineer, like those two. Like, you know, you don't see that as the captain, and the captain can also be a goofball, not just a horny space person who runs around tagging everything that walks on every biped that walks. I mean,
why did you bring Shatner into this?
Oh, and I could probably talk for hours on how Kirk and Shatner's okay. Kirk is not my favorite captain, and I get it. He's the first one. They were still figuring out the universe, so I respect that fact. But in hindsight, nowhere near my favorite captain. And actually, he's better in the movies than he is in the original series.
Yeah, I was gonna say in like I like Kirk in the movies, like how he's portrayed. You know, he's older. He's kind of learned his ways. He's you know, not to quote Riker, but he's seasoned. You know, kind of like how we are. You know, in our youth, we're a little bit inexperienced. We're kind of a little rowdy. but when we get older, we're a little more mellow, and that's Kirk. I like Kirk in Star Trek 2 through 4, where you can still see, the fun, the playfulness, but he's not, he's not that ladies man. He doesn't have time for that shit, and I like that, plus he's, those stories lend themselves to the consequences of being that ladies man and the mistakes of your past. And I like those, especially being, and now, I'm at that age of, well, sometimes my younger days kind of bite me in the ass. I think that's a very relatable story. Whereas Kirk in the TV show, he didn't really have to pay the consequences,
Yeah, lady in every port.
Exactly. I kind of, for me, I see Mason as, not necessarily Kirk light, but I do kind of see Mason as that character of, he's had his fun. I do kind of wonder if, since he is kind of in that, there's a little spring in his step, kind of like William Shatner, because he does kind of remind me of a William Shatner-esque type captain, if not the irresponsibility of a William Shatner in the ladies department. But I do kind of wonder if some of his past actions are going to bite him in the ass, kind of like a Wrath of Khan type era. It kind of makes me want to spend some time with that character and just see if we get that moment with him in the Avalon universe, to where, okay, things are going to kind of bite him in the ass, because I feel like they were trying to do that somewhat with Chris Pine, but because we don't, because we only spend, 2 hours with him every couple of years, the gravitas isn't there, so I hope, I hope we get that time with Tyler, because he is a good guy. I think he's a really great actor. He really pulls it out as Mason here, as a friendly captain. And that's one thing, that was one thing I really loved about Archer in the TV show of Enterprise is, you could approach him at the dinner table and he'd talk to you. And I feel like Mason's the same way. You couldn't really do that with Captain Picard. You always felt like, oh, he's on this pedestal so high, I can't really approach him. I'm nervous. But you didn't feel that way with Archer. I know some of the crew, they said they felt that way, but he was an approachable guy. And Mason's the same way. He's an approachable captain, and I like that. I dig that about him.
Yeah, I would say if I had to put it on any par, that he is closer to Archer than any of the others.
Yeah.
I would ship that. I feel like he's just got that. And as I said, you're not wrong, but I really feel like he would, like, if we're going to go from the Enterprise route, I feel like he's got more of a Trip Tucker, feel to him rather than a Archer feel. But you're right. Archer was more of an approachable captain. He was not afraid to get down in the nitty gritty of it, and help Phlox feed his animals and his, he could have, so.
I do like the one thing I do like about the thing in Tyler's performance, and it took me a while because most people don't know, like when I first met Tyler, him and I kind of butted heads a little bit. So I really didn't like him too much. What is it with me and butting heads with people when I first meet them? And then they become really nice friends of mine, that I really admire.
That is a big Dragon Ball Z trope, is that all of the people Goku fight become his friends.
I might need to watch this show then. But like having watched the show this time, the one thing that really stood out to me is when he listens to what the options are and then he says, okay, let's try this. I really loved how just in that one moment it felt very commanding without being authoritative, and that to me, I felt that's a sign of a good captain. And it felt commanding without, it felt commanding, and at the same time it felt at ease with his people. It was almost kind of like with Picard when they're in their briefing room and he listens to everybody and then makes the decision. Yet with Patrick Stewart, he has that, almost overbearing command presence. But with Tyler, it's done in a very different sense where you feel at ease, even though the situation is very tense, and it's very subtle and I really dig that about Tyler's performance there. I really dig that about him, and that's something that I missed almost every other time that I've watched that, and this is the first time that I picked that out. So I really like that. So, but I do, the one thing about the story that I enjoy is the fact that you have something that no other Star Trek has given us, which is, or at least fan film wise, which is zombies in space.
Zombies
in
space.
And mixed with a little bit of Adam West 1966, I feel, because when they're doing the Schwarzenegger, you know,
I really wish they would have thrown a line in there though, saying like, "What do you like?" When Archer was like, "What are you guys doing?" They would have been like, "Oh, we were watching this old classic film from," and then he started doing the Arnold quotes. You know, it's like it's this old Western type classic film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this film. I think it's I think it's one of the better films that are out there. I think the Avalon Universe in itself is, you know, I've said before, I think Avalon Universe is kind of the height of where modern fan films are, because a lot of people have said that the guidelines just decimated fan films, but they didn't. But I think it kind of paved the way for lesser fan films to kind of step up and kind of take shape. You know, because when the fan film guidelines came out, you know, you couldn't have the big name actors be in the fan films anymore. You know, so your $100,000 fan films kind of went away. You know, your professional actors being in your fan films, you know, went away. But you know, looking at the Avalon films, those films are kind of your top-notch films, or like, you know, films like Nick Cook, what he does, those are really top-notch. Or like you said, Squadron, like those are really beautifully shot films. You can tell there's a lot of quality into those films, you know. I think, you know, we may not have, you know, the you know, Hollywood actor in the films, but we do have quality just the same. I think these are, you know, I think this is an example of that, you know, an example of how the guidelines have succeeded in doing what CBS wanted. So, but all right, guys. Well, is there anything else you guys want to add to this? Because we're now hour and a half in, and we've been jibber jabbering. I mean, there's been man moves, there's been holes galore. We've been talking, you know, it's been a weird, crazy night. But is there anything else you guys want to add?
I think that we've covered it pretty well. At least I have.
Okay, Cousin Cheetah.
When you invite me in, just all sorts of weird comes out. I mean, come on.
Well, that's why we love. That's why we love having you, Cousin Cheeto.
I bring up
all right. Right on, man. Well, you're always welcome anytime, man, and we love having you both. You and Zam, we both love having you on. So. All right. Well, with that in mind, now I know Frank, on Sunday we are having a Nausea Universe breakdown of for those of you. Yeah, Nausea. For those of you guys that don't remember, Nausea is the Nausea Universe is the Constar equivalent of yesterday's Enterprise. So that's where Menard's really a fucked up individual and does a lot of fucked up things. It gets the Federation really, you know, decimated and everything. But it's my breakdown of both those films, Nausea and then Wasteland, where I kind of go through and talk about what my thought process was in both those films, and just how it kind of deviates from regular timeline and what all went into that. So I actually break down the scenes and what everything went into those were. And it's about 40 minutes long, but that's Sunday at 7 o'clock. So join us for that. We also have continuing just a bunch of shows at noon next week. So stop by and see what we got coming, because we have something every day at noon. Unless the person didn't post, because real life, you know, comes up, because, you know, real life comes first. But, you know, come check out the channel, see what we got every day, because we always have something new. But with that in mind, Frank, is there anything that you have on the agenda that needs to be addressed?
The only thing that I have is Wednesday night we will be having Blind Lemon Chiffon on FilmQuest, and I think that's about it for me. And we missed last week's Filksing in the morning because Donna's daughter, or my daughter, was in having some surgery done, so we didn't have a chance to put that together. So
everything okay?
Oh yeah, it's just something that she's had finally figured out that she has a brain, and they had put a couple stents up there to relieve some pressure that she was having that was causing her dizziness. So hopefully that will work out. She's been suffering that for a few years now. So
okay. And then Cousin Cheeto, is there anything that you have coming up on your guys' channel that you want to address?
Not anything in particular that we know. I just literally before this started, I just did 2 reactions to the new Star Trek trailers for Lower Decks and Prodigy. Really, we just kind of do our thing. We do fan film reactions, so you'll see us kind of going through and looking at some fan films. We do some tier lists. I mean, we have several on there. We've got Star Wars movies, Star Trek movies. We've got games on there. We've got we just recently did one for all of Tom Cruise movies, all of them, and we rated them all. So yeah, I mean, that's that. That's really, I mean, what we have going on. We don't have anything like really planned on the docket, but we just kind of do our thing.
All right. Well, any of you guys who haven't checked out NerdTube, go ahead and check them out. Subscribe to them, and stop back. Like I said, stop back at our channel. We always got something here for you. So try to keep everything entertaining and keep it light, fun. And all right, guys. With that in mind, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We had a great time. Cousin Cheeto, thank you for joining us tonight.
No problem.
With that in mind, Franks, thank you for joining me. And again, happy birthday, my friend. You look great for a man in his early 30s.
Right, 39.
With that in mind, 30. Oh, okay. Oh, late 30s. Okay, I got it. With that in mind, be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on, guys.
Good night, everybody. Stay out of trouble.